Now, binary options, another name which we give for a couple of types of these varieties is also what we call as a digital option as well. So we'll walk through this. So binary options come in four types generally. So we have a cash or nothing call. So the meaning of this is it will pay a fixed amount if the asset price is above the strike price, otherwise it will pay a zero. So think of it as just like a on or a off switch, whereby if the if the asset price goes above the strike price, you get something, otherwise you don't get anything. Similarly, you have a cash or nothing put, whereby it pays a fixed amount if the asset price is below the strike price or zero otherwise. Again, like a on or off switch again. So these are many times called as digitals as well. Then we have asset or nothing call. So these two varieties are a little different as compared to the cash or nothing varieties above. So what do you mean by asset or nothing call? So that means it will pay an amount which will be equal to the asset price if it is above the strike price at maturity and zero otherwise. So think of the asset prices maybe as ST. Whereas asset or nothing put, it will pay an amount equal to the asset price if it is below the strike price at maturity and zero otherwise. So think of it like ST comma 0 or maybe 0 comma ST, either ways. Now the payoff of this option, so let's say if you want to combine binary options and try to relate them from the payoff from a plain vanilla European option perspective, we can look at a simple replication idea, and that way I can say that knowing this idea of replication, not just for binary options, but then in general, if we are able to do replications of payoffs which you observe for different kinds of options, that is an advantage, because typically whenever we look at exotic contracts can, if you look at them together as one single product, they can have really complicated payoffs which can make things very difficult to model or price as well. But then if we are able to then visualize that or convert that complex looking payoffs into something which is more vanilla or like a combination of vanilla options, it has a couple of advantages. Firstly, we understand the product better, because then we all of us are very comfortable with vanilla option payoffs. So that way we get a better understanding of the product, and also this understanding of the product plays a big role in subsequent pricing and also any kind of hedging decisions which are to be made as well. So just trying to use binary options in order to replicate a long position in a European call option and then subsequently for a European put option. So let's look at it for a European call option first. So to replicate the payoff for a European call, we can say that we have a long position in a asset or nothing call. So think of this like the idea of receiving ST if you're, so based on this definition, right? ST if asset price is above the strike price or zero at zero otherwise. So we can have a ST and a short position in a cash or nothing call with a payoff equal to the option strike, let's say K. Now, please note it is a short position, so we are going to write this as a minus K. And then if we combine this, it becomes like a ST minus K. So that becomes like a payoff for a European call option. Similarly, we can also replicate the payoff for a long position in a European put option. So how do we do that? So this will involve combining a long position in a cash or nothing put with a payoff equal to option strike K. Again, this K will be positive because we are taking a long position, plus a short position in a asset or nothing put. So think of this like minus ST. So K minus ST. So that way we can combine a couple of binary options and have the final payoff which looks like a European call and for like a European put option. And as I mentioned earlier, cash or nothing options are popularly at times called as digital options as well, because of the way in which their payoff is, it's like an on or off switch. It's like 1 or 0. Binary options have a discontinuous payoff. So let's understand that through a simple example as well. So we take an example of a cash or nothing call, which pays off USD 100,000 if the stock price is above, let's say, USD $30. So how do you interpret this? So this means that the payoff will be 0 if the stock price is less than 30, we'll take it, let's say an example of 29.5. So that way the payoff will be zero if the stock price is 29 and a half, whereas payoff will be full 100,000 if the stock price is USD 30 and a half. So I'm just assuming a tick size of zero point 0.5, but then this becomes like the decision boundary. So this is when we know whether we are getting a payoff or whether we are not getting a payoff. Now, you'll observe that in certain jurisdictions, regulators are very, very strict and they are very careful whenever market participants trade binary options, or typically these kind of options which I mentioned about, typically the cash or nothing or the digital ones. Because then there could be a motivation for market participants to trade the market such that that could result in price manipulation activities as well, which is naturally illegal. So again, taking an example of a cash or nothing call and trying to explain why these kind of options can be a concern from a regulatory standpoint. So let's say we have a cash or nothing call and which is very, very close to maturity date, and currently let's say the stock price is at 29. We'll take the same decision level of 30. Now, a trader who has a long position might place multiple buy orders on this particular stock so that it increases the demand for the stock, which can potentially push the stock price way beyond 30. Or even if it just breaches 30, it's enough, isn't it? So that increasing demand for the stock, which is, by the way, an inflated demand, because then a trader is simply booking more and more long positions. So that way, the stock price might go beyond 30 and that will generate the payoff for the dealer. On the contrary, let's say if the dealer has a short position, then they may place multiple sell orders. Again, this is going to inflate the volume artificially because they are placing multiple sell orders in order to bring down the price so that the stock price, once it falls below USD 30, it's going to generate a payoff for them. So this kind of price manipulation activities are the main concern whenever it comes to a cash or nothing call or a put variety. And that is why in many regulatory jurisdictions, these products could either be banned or there could be a strict set of regulations which have been placed in order for someone to trade these kind of products.